We're going to want to get to some questions from all our listeners. So I just want to ask you one last thing before we take on some of those questions. During a discussion that you moderated 2 seasons ago at Fashion Week at Spring Studios with Philip Lim and Amber Valletta, the model and activist who's also a member of the FIT Foundation Board and is FIT's ambassador for sustainability. We're very proud of that. I asked at the end of this discussion, I said, okay, we all heard you all say a lot of amazing things. What is the one thing we could take away from here and leave this room and do that can make a difference? Do you remember what you said?
No.
You said wash your clothes less.
Oh, yes, of course. Wash your clothes less. Wash your clothes less.
Is that?
Well, I think.
And you said you said you even got that advice from somebody like a Procter and Gamble who makes soap suds, you know?
Yep, the man from Procter and Gamble said, "Wash your clothes less."
So,
and it's interesting because a lovely startup, you were talking about startups, a lovely startup called The Laundress, which I think has since sold to a big group, but reached out to me this week, and they're trying to, push their message about wash your clothes less and use less polluting products when you do, and give your clothes a longer life, and the runoff is cleaner. But yes, I have the figures in the book. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
so you'll still stand by that. Anything else that you would recommend? One other tip?
Wash your clothes less and shop your closet. We have great things in our closet already, and we can mix them up. Shop your friends' closets, or shop your aunt's or your mother's or your cousin's closet.
Well, when you can see them.
When you can see them.
When you can see them, and when you can be closer than 6 feet apart. But it is the time that we all have, including me, that I haven't done it yet because this quarantine has left me somewhat paralyzed. But this is closet cleaning time. Certainly, clean out the cabinets, clean out the closets. Let's all edit and get rid of stuff. We all have too much of everything. And I mean, I have more dishes and pots and pans and things and glassware, and I'm not having dinner parties for 14 and 20 people in my house anymore. So I don't need all that stuff. The hardest part for me is I don't know who to give it to, where to get rid of it, so that somebody could use it. So maybe that's a question. Somebody wants to answer that for me. Melanie, are you on board to throw us a couple of questions?
I'm here, and we've got a couple of good ones. Thank you both. The first one is for Dana, and kind of going back to the Alabama Channon. One question is, in talking about U.S. production, do we have enough infrastructure to have more production here in the United States?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. And we're seeing it in the Carolinas. What's happening, which I write about and I describe in the book, is that all those factories have been sitting empty for 25 years. The textile mills and the clothing mills, they are being refitted with state-of-the-art manufacturing systems that are run from clean rooms, that are sobots, that are computer generated, that are vacuum. I saw one of these in Manchester, which I describe in the book, where everything is, all the cotton is run through tubes, and so it's not blowing around the air. And it's all run from a clean room, and then they have these vacuums sucking up all the dust all the time. And they have also changed out all the time, so you don't get sick from it.
Right. Also, the Brooklyn Navy Yard and in St. Louis, they've been retrofitting the old buildings there to bring manufacturing back.
I was supposed to go to
they're trying to do that with the fashion task force. I mean, everybody's trying to bring that more to a local level. Nashville, the factories making things.
And there's a great factory I quickly nod to in the book, and has since taken off, called the Vidalia Denim Mill in Vidalia, Louisiana. And they took over an old Fruit of the Loom factory. They bought the denim machines from Cone Denim when it went under last year. And they're weaving selvage denim in this beautiful old factory in this old town and creating jobs. So, yeah, I think actually it's harder if you have a running company or a running factory or mill to stop everything and gut it and put everything, or to build something from scratch,
Well, people are retrofitting companies right now to make hand sanitizer from fragrance companies and to make masks and PPE from clothing companies.
But now
I think
everything's
the bittersweet success story out of this will be a complete business of fashion masks. We're going to probably have collections of them all to buy that match our clothes, since we're going to have to wear them all the time. So instead of having those little white and blue hospital ones, it's going to be, you're going to be judged by the mask you wear now. So maybe that's a business, everybody can dive into, and you see it already on Instagram. But okay, next question, because we don't have a lot of time, I think.
Yeah. So that actually is a great segue for this question. How do you feel about luxury resale and consignment? Some people think it's a good thing, but they also love current fashion. So what's your opinion about resale and consignment luxury sales online?
Oh, I think it's great, but I've always shopped consignment, and I've always shopped thrift shops. When I was a college student, I went to thrift shops. When I was a kid and I had a pony, we went to the consignment shop at Radnor Hunt, and I got my little tweed blazer, which was somebody else's, and I got my saddle, which was somebody else's, and I got my boots, which were somebody else's. So, and my favorite consignment shop was the one in Georgetown in Washington, D.C. That was the best one of all. So, because, those ladies in Georgetown, when they clean out their closets, they clean out good stuff. So you could find some gems in the Georgetown consignment shop.
A lot of my clothing winds up in St. Louis at the Vault.
That's good to know.
Yep.
Interesting. So I think that it's great, and I think resale sites are great too. There's some that are better than others. There's some that give you a better deal than others. I've always put stuff up on eBay and just collect. And I had people who were collectors who followed me, and if I put something up within 5 minutes, it'd be sold. They were so thrilled.
What next?
I
We have
love
time for more?
Yep, I've got another good one. So what is the elephant in the room that's not being addressed in the fashion boardrooms and the stakeholder meetings that needs to be addressed to really see more a sustainable fashion industry?
I think it's that economies of scale is actually a very wasteful business model, and it doesn't make any sense. That you make 100 to sell 80 and you throw 20 away is wasteful. And if you're purposely being wasteful, and if you're wasting money, then shareholders are not making money. So stop crunching numbers in that compartmentalized way where it's like, oh, but in this column it's profitable, even though in that column we lost a fortune. That's somebody else's money we're losing, so it doesn't matter. It all matters. It's all the piece, and you have to think.
I think the elephant in the room, not necessarily sustainability, but in those fashion boardrooms, is inclusivity and diversity. I think we need more women. We need more people of color. We need more people who are really the people who are out there wearing the clothes, and not just a bunch of suits in every boardroom telling us what we should wear and how much it should cost and how much they should make.
Curiously, I did not set out for it to be this way, but when I found myself writing the book, I realized that most of the change makers I was writing about were women.
There you go.
And it turned out to be a book about women. Although I just was like, oh, and here I am meeting another fabulous woman who has the courage to go a different route. And I think that is really important, that it's not the suits with MBAs sitting in boardrooms.
Yep.
That's great. I want to again thank everyone who.
So I'm sure there's a lot of kids who want to go get their MBAs listening to us. Go get them, but they put them in the bag.
There are so many questions on here, and what I'd like to do is anybody who didn't get their question answered, which there are many of you, there will be an opportunity to take a quick survey. We'll pass these off to our hosts, and we'll get you some answers.
Absolutely.
Thank you both, Dana and Fern. We can't say thank you enough. I think we're all needing some hope and some inspiration since these last few weeks, and this was such a great conversation. For those of you who haven't read Fashionopolis, you can continue to order it still, or you can download the audio version.
Book.
You're welcome, and thank you for getting me to put some mascara on for the first time in 6 weeks, and to try to find my natural hair, not get it blown out every week. So it's a whole new ballgame.
I mean, can we just talk for a second about Anna's fantastic hair? Who is keeping up her blow drying? That's what I want to know.
Okay.
That's our next
That's a good
webinar. Our
question.
next webinar is Anna Wintour's hairstylist. Tune in. I'll send an invite.
Yeah, in isolation.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and stay safe and healthy.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.